therapist, and a doctor. I'm your co-host, Judy Grant, licensed marriage and family therapist.
And I'm your co-host, Dr. Sophia Grant, board-certified pediatrician and board-certified child abuse pediatrician.
What's going on, Candy? What's new?
Well, this morning I woke up and I was scrolling through like Instagram or something, and this page went to Australia. And you know my feelings about Australia.
I know where this is going.
I'll never go because they have lizards that you can ride on. Anyway, there was this Australian home, and there was a toy basket with kids' toys and all of that. And a snake wrangler had to come because there was a snake underneath the toys. And I was like, I felt like this was further confirmation of why I'll never go to Australia. And the people were so calm. When the guy took it out, Mom was saying, oh, it's quite pretty. I'm like, what the? I mean, and it was with the stuffed, oh my gosh.
No. So, thank you for bringing up the most intense fear of my life.
Yeah, well, it's up there on mine.
Because just a couple weeks ago, we're all home. I think it's a Sunday afternoon. Rick goes into the garage and he comes back out like stymied. I'm like, what's going on with you? And he's like, there's a baby rattlesnake in the garage. I, of course, panic. The kids want to see, so they all go out.
Mm-hmm.
Maya's the bravest of them because she was taking video.
Yeah.
Maxine was like, okay, I saw it. I'm going back.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you, like, I have not been able to comfortably go into my garage. And I have a refrigerator out there.
Yeah.
But I'm so scared.
Yeah, I know.
Like, Candy,
it's snake season.
Good.
It's snake season. Because remember a couple weeks ago, we saw the shed. I saw the shed skin of a snake as I was walking. Yesterday, I went down the hill in my house and I'm like, oh my gosh, why don't I have a phone for when I get bitten, I can call 911?
Yep.
Like it's just always in my brain. It's so crazy.
And it's so irrational, the fear.
To me, it's rational. To me, it's rational. Hold on. Because there are snakes in my backyard. That's a rational fear.
This is like a whole episode.
I know.
Because, okay, so I have to tell you, I look under the car before I get in it.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to sit down on my patio, I peek to make sure that nothing's hidden there. I will move my pillow to check that nothing is back there because I'm always thinking snake. And we're sharing this and it's frightening and it's amusing. But please, nobody come back and say, oh, you need to get over that because that's not going to happen.
And talk about, now this is irrational. Sometimes I'm lying in my bed and I say, how do I know there isn't a snake coiled up underneath the blanket? And I will get up and fling it back.
Yes.
And so far there's never been anything. So,
oh my gosh.
I mean, we definitely share that phobia. And, but we don't know everything about each other. So we're going to be asking questions today.
Okay. Yeah. So a while ago, Candy, you sent me this little, questions to ask your siblings from Instagram. And I immediately thought, or you actually recommended, we need to do this for an episode. Excuse me, because as well as we know each other, there are probably some things that we don't know. So we're just going to go back and forth, have a conversation with each other and try to dig a little bit deeper into our relationship as siblings and as sisters.
Yes. And it was from a website called Hello Giggles. So in case you want to look it up yourself.
Okay. So you want to get started?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
What's been the best day of your life so far?
Okay, can we just excuse the birth of my 3 children? Like that's like a kind of a given?
Not for some people. Not for a lot of people.
Okay, for me, that is a given. I can't even include that with the other things that have happened in my life. I'm going to share something that I'm incredibly proud of. I don't know if it's the best, but I'm very, very proud. When I went back to school when I was 43, 45, something like that, to get this master's degree so I could be a marriage and family therapist. It was a lot of work. I had a ton of support. Rick was amazing with the kids. Mommy, everybody was so incredibly supportive. But I tell you, there was something about walking across that graduation stage that day that I'll never forget. And I think it's because, you go to college when you're 18. I went like right out of high school. I went to my first graduate program immediately after that. I didn't have a whole lot of life behind me or experiences behind me, trials and tribulations. And so I think going back to school, I was so like focused on, I know exactly what I want to do. And there was great comfort in knowing, as opposed to you're 18 and you're like, I don't know what major I'm going to choose. Right. I just need to get through college. And so to figure out exactly what I wanted to do and to do it and do it pretty well, I would put my report card up on the refrigerator next to the kids. I was just incredibly proud of myself, but I also recognized that I could have not gotten there had it not been for the support of my family. Had Rick not stepped up to help with the kids, pick them up, drop them off, bring me lunch while I'm at school. So I recognize that it was definitely a group effort, but to cross that stage and know that I was a marriage and family therapist, that was huge for me.
Yay for you. Yeah, that's great.
That was huge for me. Okay, so question for you. You ready? What was the most transformative experience we shared together in our childhood?
Oh gosh, transformative. Oh, Judy, I don't. Transformative. I mean, it wasn't just me and you, it was the whole family. And it was when we moved from Jamaica. That was it was transformative, but for me, it was traumatic because when I came to America, people told me I talk funny. I had good friends, and I'm an introvert. I had good friends in Jamaica. It took me a while to make good friends. And that process of moving to America and kind of finding out who I am and things like that, I think that's what I can think of. But I can't think of anything just you and me. Can you?
No, the things that come to my mind are about the family unit and not just the two of us.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would have to agree with you. I mean, moving from Jamaica changed all of our lives in ways that, have lasting ripple effects.
Yeah. But I think that's what I can think of.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Hold on. Let me go back to that for a second. How do you think your life would be different if we hadn't have left?
Let's see. I think I would feel more entitled because, Jamaica is very classist. And, we were well-to-do in Jamaica. And I think we would have grown up with the housekeepers, the yard boy, the cleaning, all of that stuff. And maybe I wouldn't be as appreciative of my ancestors and their struggles. But having that separation, I think, makes me reflect more on, the people who came before us. I think I'd probably still be a doctor. But Yeah, I think it would, I would have been more entitled. I would have been like, probably, mommy says she's happy we left Jamaica, because the kids who stay in Jamaica in our social circles, they're just entitled and, kind of, yeah, feisty and all them things.
Okay, good follow-up question.
Yeah.
Great answer. Thank you.
Let's see. How many kids did you want to have?
I'm going to go ahead and say 4, because that's what we had.
Yeah.
And I loved the 4 of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
That the 2 boys, 2 girls, like, it was such a great combination. And the boys being, back to back, and then you and I. I mean, I felt like I had built-in playmates. You are to this day my best friend. And, I would have wanted that. I think I wanted that for myself. I ended up with 3, 2 girls, 1 boy. And I do wish that Grayson had a brother. Luckily, he has great cousin brothers.
Yes.
But, I wish I could have provided him with that.
But
I am happy with my 3.
Yeah,
I'm very happy with
but if you had a 4th, there was no guarantee it would have been a boy,
There you go.
You could have had 3 sisters.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you want 4?
Well, I wanted 5. I wanted to have 4. Like when I planned out my life, I was going to start having kids when I was 25. And then when I was 38, I would have had the 5th child to keep me company, me and my husband company. So, but, I have 3. So in a sense, I had the 2, and then Yaya came, many years later. So, still an odd number. But like I said, like you said, I love the 3 of them. I love the 3 of them. And so, I think, I feel like I could have parented well 5 kids. 6 kids would have been a lot, but I think I could have managed 5. But damn, kids are so expensive.
They really are.
Yeah.
I would be a wealthy woman if I didn't have these 3 children. Good Lord. Yeah. Okay. All right. My turn to ask you. Okay. What was the hardest moment we faced together, and how did it shape our relationship?
It was 2 moments of the same thing. Well, it was the, our marriage is falling apart. You being a mess, me being a mess. Yeah, that was tough. It was tough to see you in pain. It was tough to see you kind of navigate. And I think the toughest thing for me was the back and forth that you did, the wavering. Should I stay? Should I go? And I'm like, he's a piece of shit. You need to leave. And seeing you go back and forth was very difficult for me. And frequently I wanted to just slap you and say, what the hell? Just walk away. And that was really hard for me to see you go through that.
Yeah. Yeah. And, it's kind of like, why is she wavering? Like, can't she just make a decision?
Yeah.
And I recognize, like, I questioned myself in that moment too. And I just had to do it on my timeline, but yeah, I can see that frustration. I'm going to just answer a little bit about that, because what was so hard for me was when your marriage crumbled, you weren't close. You weren't close. So I'm having these phone calls with you. I don't even think we had FaceTime back then.
No, it wasn't a thing.
So I'm having phone calls with you, regularly, twice a day, 3 times a day, whatever it is. And I couldn't physically be there for you. And that that hurt me that I could not be there. I couldn't just jump on a plane to get to you.
Yeah.
You know, I was able to do that a few times, but I couldn't be there the way I wanted to be there for you. And I wish I had been.
Yeah. Well, you know, one thing, when he said he didn't love me and he was leaving, I told him, don't come back. If you know, don't treat me the way Judy's person is treating her, because I don't want to be on that seesaw. And he never did come back. I wanted him to, in the sense that I wanted him to like beg for my forgiveness and to say, no, I don't want you. But that never happened either. But yeah, I think that was really tough.
Yeah. So I had a seesaw and you had like the Band-Aid ripped.
Yeah, it was ripped off. Yeah.
Neither of them were good. But, you know, even in that time, and even when you might have been questioning, like, what the hell's the matter with her, you were there for me.
Mm-hmm.
You were there. You were there for me, for the children. You know, never forget that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that never was
forget that.
Rough.
I could easily go into tears, but I'm not doing that today. Not doing it. All right.
Let's see. What is one thing you've never told me?
Now I'm going to tell you here with our audience.
Oh, yeah. And we're not together. So, okay, what are you going to tell me? I'm already mad. What are you going to tell me?
Shoot, one thing I never told you. Okay, so you'll get this. So way back when we were children, I forget who the teacher was, and we had to do the memory scrapbook or whatever it was. Remember that?
Yeah.
And you had the teacher 2 years prior to me having the teacher.
Mrs. Gwen Graham.
Yes. And when it was my time, I borrowed yours to like see like what did Candy do? Because I you know, didn't have to reinvent the wheel. So you did then, and you continue to tell me that I'm copying you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, we have 3 children. Our children's birth dates are almost identical, 2 out of the 3 of them. And it's like, Judy's copying me again. She's copying me again. And I'm not really a fan of that.
Oh, really?
Because I feel like, you know, there are a lot of similarities in our lives, but a lot of them are unintentional. And clearly, as I aged, I didn't feel the need to use you as a roadmap. We had our own paths. But yeah, I'm not a fan of that. Really?
Oh, it's been a running joke for like 50 years.
Okay, so that reminds me of the ice cream cake.
It's freaking ice cream cake. Okay, yes. I don't like ice cream cake. And for a few years, like for 4 years.
More than a few
for like
years.
4, I don't know how many years. August 18th rolls around, cake comes out, it's ice cream cake. I'm like, what the hell? And there was a birthday, I don't know, was I married? I think I might have been married. Yeah, I was married. And then I said, I better not be getting any ice cream cake this year. And then I see my aunt kind of hurry up and get her purse and leave. I'm like, did you guys get me ice cream cake again? And is she getting me a different cake? And I'm like, why were you getting me ice cream cake? Is it because you like it?
Well, no, I think it's also because you had a summer birthday.
Yeah, but I never liked ice cream cake.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
oh my God.
I think what propelled that was the summer birthday.
Yeah.
And then Baskin Robbins was down the street.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that has been another running joke for decades.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, Candy's ideal cake on her birthday is a chocolate cake.
Brown on brown, baby.
Cake.
Yeah.
Brown on brown. Chocolate.
Yeah.
Okay. Oof. All right. Whose turn is it? I don't even remember.
Your turn.
Okay. All right. Okay. Here's one. How did we help each other heal from a painful family experience?
We're kind of going through that now. We complain to each other. We talk to each other. We talk a lot. And then like if something crosses my mind, it's like, and another thing, I'll text or call and I'm like, did you realize? So I think it's just the constant communication, the always being there. And, we're on the same page. So it's not like we have to align ourselves. Judy and I are typically on the same page with everything. So I think it's just the constant, being there for each other.
So let me ask you this follow-up. Has that always been the case?
Well, I mean, we lived a charmed life. We didn't really have conflict or issues or anything like that. So it's not like, ooh, I was there for you when I was 10, So it's like when you grow up and you have grown-up issues. So, yeah.
But, I'm also thinking of when Daddy died.
Yeah, that was rough.
And for the whole family, for the extended family, for a friend's family. And I don't know. I mean, we've had conversations about Daddy's passing, for the last 30 plus years. But in the moment, it was, Candy knows what I'm feeling. It's like, I didn't have to explain.
Mm-hmm.
You just knew.
Yeah.
You understood. You like those family jokes that we shared that would make us laugh in those really hard moments. You knew what I was going through.
Yeah.
And not having to explain yourself to someone is pretty special.
Yeah. And we were like, Daddy died right before I started medical school. You were still in college.
Mm-hmm.
I think you graduated on Father's Day.
I did.
Yeah, and I couldn't be there. I was always in school, always away. But yeah, that's definitely something we experienced together. Let's see. What was a moment in college or high school that you'd never want to relive?
Okay, so full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the snake.
Oh, yeah.
So, and this also happened in college.
Yeah.
So, there was a classmate of mine in high school who learned that I didn't like snakes. And back then, I just didn't like them. I didn't have this crazy phobia like it is today. And she was a little off. And there was one day I find out that she's looking for me. I'm like, oh, where's Mary? I'll go find her.
Mary's not the real name, by the way.
Mary is not the real name. Thank you. And, I think I was at my locker and she came over to me and she had like that big bag on her hip and she opened the bag and there was a snake in it. And she... when people know your fears, they capitalize on that vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
And she did that and it rocked me. And I was so afraid. And I'm thinking, like, this is a friend who would do this?
Mm-hmm.
And how awful that was. So clearly that relationship did not progress in any way whatsoever after that.
Have you seen her since?
She also stole a fetal pig from
the school lab.
The school lab and had it in her purse. So clearly off.
Yeah.
But that was something I would never want to relive. And then I actually did relive it in college when, when I'm talking about my fear of snakes, like, please know there have been traumatic events with me with snakes. So I'll just share this story quickly. So a friend of mine said, let's go visit our other friends at another school in the area, their apartment, these 4 or 5 young men. Okay, great. No problem. It was summer. I was wearing like shorts and a little tank top. And I get in, and the first thing I see is this giant like terrarium thing with 2 huge snakes in it. And I back up against the wall because now my fear has amplified over the years. And they're like, what's wrong with her? And my friend said, oh, Judy's afraid of snakes. Oh, really? And 2 of them picked me up and held me down and put the snakes on my body. And that was...
And they thought it was funny. They were laughing.
Young,
it was
dumb,
hysterical.
Laughing. Yeah. And that is assault.
Mm-hmm.
I could have called the police. I didn't have the wherewithal or the ability to do it. But I remember when they let me up, I like ran out of the house, and I don't even know how I got back to school, but I left immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's when you ask about that experiences I wouldn't want to repeat, it wasn't like some big emotional thing. That this is the first thing that I go to.
Mm-hmm.
How my fear was used against me.
Yeah, that I get like this like rapey vibes from that. Like no means no, asshole. Right. Just like how is this funny? You're using your power to lift me up and then do something to me that I'm terrified of. What jerks.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Young and dumb. So my question for you, what is one of the funniest memories of the 2 of us that you have, whether childhood or adulthood?
It's not the 2 of us. It's 3 of us. And I think you're going to remember. In Jamaica, we have a brother, Steve. And Steve used to ride a bicycle. And he'd be riding. And he wouldn't be sitting on the seat. I'd be sitting on the seat. And Judy would be on the handlebars. So you were like 4, I'm 6. And it was just, it was like terrifying, but fun, exhilarating, and just like, I don't know. It was just so much fun to be doing something like 3 people on a bicycle. But like you trusted him. And that was fun. You remember that?
I remember, and I remember like Steve wouldn't necessarily like sit on the seat because you were sitting there, so he would kind of stand and pedal, and I can't like I remember his bottom like in your face.
Yeah, because he would do it on purpose. He'd push his bottom in my face, and I'm leaning backward. Yeah.
And of course, this is like there are no helmets.
No,
and also this is like a crudely paved road.
Oh gosh, yes. Right? Yes. Fall off, it's death.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, what were we thinking? But it's funny, Candy, and we've talked about this over the years. We have so many memories, the 3 of us. Mm-hmm. Steve, yourself, me. I don't know where Ruppy was.
Yeah, I know.
The 3 of us were always having stupid,
doing stupid stuff. Yeah, yeah. That's a nice memory.
That's a great memory.
Yeah. Is it my turn?
Yes, it is.
Okay. How about, let's see, what's on the other page? If you could go back in time, would you change what you wore to the prom?
Absolutely not. Mm-hmm. Abso-freaking-lutely not. Oh my gosh. So my prom dress, I found a picture of it in like a Vogue magazine, and it was at this store called Lily Rubin, and it was a white dress, lace, long sleeve, up top with the taffeta skirt.
It was the 80s.
It was, yes. beautiful. And we went to Lily Rubin, Mommy and I, to see if we could find it, and they didn't have it. And I knew that I didn't want a white dress anyway. I wanted red. So what did our mother do? We went downtown, we bought fabric.
Mm-hmm.
We drove to Tijuana because Mommy was aware of all of these amazing seamstresses, dressmakers, what have you, because Mommy and Daddy loved to go to Tijuana back then. And we had my dress made for me in Tijuana.
Really? I thought my dressmaker made it. The one who made my prom dress.
No.
Really?
I was in Tijuana.
Oh my gosh.
We took the fabric down. I went for a fitting and I picked it up and it was done. And it was stunning.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's still stunning.
Yeah.
I have it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to put it on.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I loved my prom dress.
It was a pretty dress.
And, our mother, she really recognized these important moments, these milestones, and made them special for us. We both had our dresses made.
Yeah. And then whenever Mommy would be spending a lot of money on stuff, she would kind of justify it by saying, "You're a good girl. You don't give me any trouble. You get straight A's on your report card." And the poor thing, she's trying to justify it. And I remember like in the 70s, Mommy bought dresses for us. Judy and I used to like to match. And the dresses were $40 each. And she said, "Don't tell Daddy. Don't tell Daddy." Yeah,
that was a lot of that. Don't tell Daddy.
Don't tell Daddy. Yeah. And it was, it wasn't about anything super important. It was about like spending money on us. So of course, if we wanted to continue with the spending, our lips were sealed. Who's going to give that up? Yeah.
But I also want to, I have a couple follow-ups. Make note that she would say, "Don't tell Daddy." But Daddy was always so proud when his children showed up.
And looked good. Yeah.
And looked good.
Yeah.
So he trusted Mommy to take care of that. And maybe he never asked her how much she spent because he knew that he wanted his children to look good. Yeah. And we did. But also, let's talk about your prom dress.
Mm-hmm.
That's a beautiful dress.
Yeah, my prom dress, I don't know where I saw the picture, but I had it made. I don't know where I found this woman, but she was a Persian woman who was a seamstress, and she operated out of her house, and her name was Saida.
Yeah.
And we bought the fabric, and she made the dress, and I still have it. It's a beautiful dress. And then years ago, my girls tried on the dress, and it was like it fit them. And then what struck me was, I can't believe I thought I was fat in high school.
Oh.
Like this dress fits my thin girls. So, but it's still a beautiful dress, and I have it just like you have your prom dress, because those are just special dresses. Yeah.
And Maxine tried on my prom dress some years ago. And then let's not even talk about the after prom and what that outfit was like. But Mommy she always showed up for us on those occasions.
Mm-hmm.
She really did.
And
I
want to call attention to the fact that my after prom was like a vintage sequins thing. And then 2 years later, Judy wore a vintage sequin, but she wasn't copying off of me.
I did.
That was an individual choice that she made that had nothing to do with what I did.
Nothing whatsoever. Wait, hold on. Wasn't the sequin top, wasn't that Mummy's?
No, I bought it
Did you have the red one?
I had the red one. It was a store on 3rd Street.
Melrose, right?
No, 3rd Street, Polka Dots and Moonbeams.
Oh my
and then
gosh,
years later, Julia Roberts is shopping there, and then I can't afford. Once celebrities discover stuff, I can't afford it anymore because the prices are up. Yeah.
Oh, too funny.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let me ask you this. And I'm off of the questions. I'm just thinking of things. If you could go back and change one thing about your childhood, what would it be and why?
It sounds crazy because we talked about it. I wish we never left Jamaica. I wish we never left Jamaica because leaving Jamaica at a young age, like I don't feel fully American. I don't feel fully Jamaican. And I think of the trauma I experienced leaving Jamaica, and it was tough. Up until Daddy died, leaving Jamaica was the most traumatic experience of my life.
Yeah.
But I wish I were fully 100% grow up until 20s, 30s, 40s in Jamaica.
Being entitled.
Yeah. Okay, so what? I'm entitled. But I wish I had grown up there 100% of the time.
You know, yeah. Candy, I feel the same. And I'm often... Rupi and Steve weren't born in Jamaica, but they were there at a time where they have like real solid memories of it. And I don't, not to the extent that they do. And I feel like I wish I had been there longer.
Mm-hmm.
Give me until 17.
Yep.
You know, just so I could experience it more. And the thing is, right now, I'm already planning for my 60th birthday to be in Jamaica because my 5th birthday was there on the Martha Brae when we rafted down the river, and I want my 60th on the Martha Brae. But I also plan on spending a good amount of time so I can try to feel ensconced in my community, in the culture, because I miss it. Yeah. I wish I had more. There are 2 pictures above my desk right now of Jamaica. And I hear you on that.
Yeah.
I hear you on that for sure.
Let's see. What's one piece of parental advice that you've held on to? What's one thing Mommy and Daddy did that you hold on to?
It wasn't advice, it was more actions. Okay, there are a couple of things. Mommy and Daddy, from my perspective, lived a life of service to others. Daddy working as a doctor for the population he worked with. Mommy always gathering up stuff to send back to people in Jamaica, or so-and-so is in need and she's asking people if they'll contribute to a little fund to give to that person. That life of service, I think, is what motivated me so much to do the work that I do, because I feel truly that in my career today, I am able to be of service to people in a way that I never ever could have. And I know that that was founded in the way my parents behaved and how they operated in their lives.
You know, I feel the same way. I feel the same way because, you know, I was a pediatrician for many years, general peds, but it just didn't feel like enough. There are thousands of pediatricians. There are people to take care of kids. But when I became a child abuse doctor, a job that nobody really wants to do, then I felt like I was being of service. Because I want, like, when Daddy died and all those people came forward and talked about how Daddy helped them start a business, Daddy lent them money, Daddy did this, that. I wanted that when I died, somebody could say, she lived a life of service to the kids. And I mean, of course, I love my job. You know, that's the benefit. But I believe that Mommy and Daddy, and then it's just the generosity, just the giving. And
Yeah.
I raised my kids to recognize that how blessed they were and to not be stingy with what they have. So,
Right.
although quite frequently mommy and daddy never said, "Oh, I'm giving so and so money." I mean,
Yeah.
I when I would do things for others, I would point it out to my kids so they would not for any kind of look at me, but so they know that it was important, so that they know
Right.
they should not be stingy. And then
Yeah.
what is so wonderful is I got a card from my daughter, and she said, "Mommy, you are my role model. You teach me to be the woman." And something, it wasn't like I'm in awe of you, but it was something that I don't know where the card is, but it was so, I was really surprised that, the kids are paying attention.
Right.
And yeah, that meant a lot.
Yeah. So I love the fact that we had that foundation. It was so much more than just about themselves or us as a family unit.
Yep. Yeah.
And I remember Daddy, like, some patients didn't have money to pay him.
Yeah.
And they would cook for him. They would bring him things.
Yes.
And he'd bring them to us.
Yeah. And then Daddy used to have a jar at his office that he would throw coins in to give his patients for bus money, to take the bus back and things like that. Yeah.
So I said this was a two-parter. The second part, and this is now more about Mummy. She taught me how to be a parent to adult children. What does that look like, right? How do you still be a parent, still be a part of your children's lives when they are adults? And that's different. Like, I had newborns, and I felt like I know how to love this little baby. I know how to change their diaper. I know how to feed them. But as an adult, they don't need that sort of parenting from you. They need a different type of parenting. And I think Mummy has exemplified the fact, or demonstrated, that she is forever here for me. Grown as I might be, I still can go to my mother. I can still crawl up into her lap. I can still get my hair stroked. I can still feel that warmth and comfort from her. And I love that. Yeah.
I agree. But I think another thing in terms of parenting advice is we grew up in a household where education was important. And so, that is something that my kids definitely feel, and they see it borne out in us. And Mummy actually went back to college when I was pregnant because she said, how can she tell her grandkids about the importance of education if she doesn't have one? And then she finished college at 58 and got her master's by 60. So
yes, she did.
Yeah, education.
Yeah.
All right, Judy, I think this is a good time to stop, don't you?
Yeah, there are a lot of great questions, but I think we went through a good number of them.
Yeah,
this has been fun.
So I think what these questions do is they open up other conversations, and this might be a fun activity to do when you guys are all together, like on holidays, or and I hope it doesn't start a fight or anything, because there are lots of families who have tension. You always loved him more, all of that stuff. But I think this is good for getting to know your siblings and your friends also on a deeper level.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So we want to thank you for joining us here at Two Soka, Two Sisters of a Certain Age, on this episode where we just dug a little bit deeper into this sibling relationship that we have. Please remember to like and follow and review. Tell your family, tell your friends. We would love to have you join us on upcoming episodes. We would love to get your feedback as well. Candy, how can folks reach us if they're looking to?
Well, you can email us, twosokapodcast@gmail.com. And remember to review us. We don't get a lot of reviews. When we initially started, we would get a bunch, and then nobody reviews us anymore. And then we're on Instagram, 2 Sisters of a Certain Age. And then we're also on YouTube, 2SOCA. And tell your friends. And let us know if you ask your siblings any of these questions. Maybe secrets came out. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
No Longer Network.